Hello and welcome to Horizon Overland. I'm very excited for today's video because I'm going to show you my latest build on my very first Ford Expedition. More specifically, the 2000 first generation Ford Expedition Eddie Bauer four-wheel drive. Now, I have done a video review of this particular rig on my last video, going over the features, talking about what it is. So if you'd like to learn more, feel free to watch my last video on that rig. But for the purpose of today's video, what we're going to do is we're going to go over the camper build itself. And the camper build is going to be a level 3 camper build. And I'm going to give you a tour of the build, talk about all the features that I've included to turn this thing into a fun adventure mobile capable of comfortable and accommodating camping. This rig is actually going to be listed for sale. So after watching this video, feel free to visit the website www.horizonoverland.com to learn more about this rig. I'll actually include the link to the listing in the video description below. So without further ado, let's get started on the tour. All right, folks, we're gonna go ahead and start from the outside. But before I get started, I want to briefly talk about what this rig is for the people who haven't seen my last video. This is a first generation 2000 Ford Expedition, the Eddie Bauer Edition. It has the four-wheel drive. This is a clean title, only 131,000 miles. Clean Carfax, no accidents, no repaints, no rust, very well maintained. It does have the 5.4 liter V8. I believe the horsepower is about 260 and 350 foot-pounds of torque. It does have the tow package, and you could see it's a very, very clean rig. These wheels are aftermarket and the tires are new. And the only thing I have included on the exterior is this 4x6 roof basket, which is completely removable should you want to maybe have a rooftop tent to have this thing accommodate up to 4 people camping, 2 inside and maybe 2 on top. You can never tell that this does have a camper build inside. It's very, very discreet, but also very, very fun to take on road trips and go on off-road camping adventures. So that's pretty much the outside. Let's go ahead and move on to the inside and show you more of the build. Okay, moving to the inside, starting with the front. I can actually enter this vehicle one of 3 ways. I can unlock it using the key fob. I do have 2 key fobs and 2 sets of keys with it. The second way is to manually put the key in the cylinder and unlock it. And the third way is to use this keypad. If you don't have your keys with you, I have the code that will enable you to enter the vehicle by inputting the code. So let's go ahead and move on to the front. 2 items I'd like to talk about up here. The first is that I have included a rear monitor with a rear camera because you could see the view is obstructed, and it could be manually turned on. It could remain on all the time, and now you're able to see behind you. The second item I'd like to discuss is the stereo. Sometimes I do like to change the factory stereo in favor of a more modern unit, but I have decided to leave this one intact. The reason why is because this stereo and the speakers as well, they are excellent. They are in great shape, they sound great, and I really did not want to take it apart and mess with the originality of it, and also mess with the sound and everything else. I mean, the way it is right now, it just sounds amazing. It is a stereo with AM/FM radio. It does have cassette. You could see the cassette right here. But also it does have a 6-disc CD changer. So if you have CDs or cassettes, you are able to use the stereo and listen to your CDs and cassettes. But notice that inside the cassette slot, we have a wire coming out. This is a cassette with a wire connected to it. And what it actually allows you to do is it allows you to listen to MP3 files in your phone by connecting either a mini USB or the auxiliary port itself. And it does sound really good. I've actually tried it. It sounds really, really good. And these speakers are just magnificent. They haven't been abused or anything. This is a very well kept vehicle, and you could see just how clean everything is all around the interior. This has been kept in excellent shape. These are the only two items I wanted to discuss. Now let's move on to the back and let me show you the build itself. Okay, moving to the back, we're gonna actually open the passenger side second door. And here is the back area. Now you notice that there's only one seat inside rather than the other captain chair on the other side. So this is a 3-person SUV, and it's also a 2-person camper. I'll convert it into camping mode in just a moment, but for now I'd like to discuss why I decided to do the setup the way you see it. And the reason why is because the battery compartment for the level 3 build is actually right there, and this was the only logical place for it. I'll go to the other side and show you more of the battery compartment. But the reason why, again, that this is only a 3-person SUV rather than a 4-person SUV is because for it to be a level 3, this space had to be utilized. I couldn't really put the battery under the hood because the engine compartment is very tight. There is no place for the secondary battery to sit there, and I couldn't put it back there because also we got the bezels on both sides. There is not much space behind them. Over there we do have the rear AC behind that bezel, and on this side we have a whole bunch of stuff that I just did not want to mess with. So you could see both bezels are still intact. I'll go over that in just a moment. But yeah, so here we have the battery compartment. We have the location of the fridge, which could either be here or you can put it all the way in the back. But this is an ideal place for it, so you don't have to keep moving it. And then also these water containers, again, they can also be stored all the way in the back. They are stored up here when they're not being used for the mattress to be able to fully lay on top of the platform, which I will demonstrate in just a moment. This Expedition is almost the size of a Tahoe, maybe a little bit longer, so we don't have extra room like we do in the Suburban to have these two items, the fridge and the water containers, to be situated permanently all the way in the back through the liftgate. But here you could see this area is also pretty open in order for you to use the cup holders, also the rear climate controls and the rear stereo controls for the passenger. And then here we see the curtain that separates the driving area from the sleeping area. Let me go over to the other side to show you the battery compartment. Okay, moving to the other side to talk about the battery compartment, which is located under the platform. So when you fold this extension over, which I will do in a second, and lay out the mattress, everything should clear, including the fridge and the water containers, no problem. So let me go ahead and open the hatch to show you what's inside. This is our 100 amp hour battery. Two ways you can charge that battery. First is through the solar controller that has the solar panels connected to it. Right now they're not connected, but these are the movable solar panels. They're 220 watt panels folding, so you can easily stow them in the back. I'll show you in a minute where I stow them. The benefits of having movable solar panels is that you can park your rig in the shade and have these in the sun, and there is a 25-foot extension cord to give you a little bit more freedom to do that. The second way to charge the secondary battery is through a smart isolator, which is a device that I've installed in the engine compartment, and that device will detect voltage and connect both batteries together when the voltage is high. The voltage will be high when you turn on the engine, and the alternator will charge the starting battery, and then the isolator will connect both batteries, charging the secondary battery. Also, the isolator will detect charge from the solar panels, so if the solar panels are charging the secondary battery and the voltage goes high, above 12.8, I believe, then both batteries are getting also charged by the solar panels. Okay, continuing on, we have a 1100 watt inverter right here that has its outlet, the AC outlet. This can allow you to charge your laptop or maybe plug in some small electrical items. Anything below maybe 800 or 900 watts can be plugged in here. We also have two DC outlets. We have one on the left side of the platform, and the second one right over there, you could see it, it's on the right side. And the one on the left side has an on and off switch. It has a battery readout. You can see the voltage is 12.5 volts, regular USB, micro USB, and a 12 volt car charger type outlet. This plug right here is for the fridge. This is a 12 volt 32 quart fridge. I really like these fridges. I've been using them pretty much on all my builds. This one is 32 quarts and it actually is great. I have no complaints. They've always worked as they should, no problem. And you could turn it on and off. It's very easy. Temperature control settings, eco mode, regular mode. The very straightforward fridge. And right below the DC outlet, we have a remote control on and off switch for the inverter that allows you to access and plug things inside this AC outlet. What I'd like to do now is lay out the mattress, set up the curtain and all the privacy mesh sleeves to show you what that looks like on this Ford Expedition. Okay, so I went ahead and set up the privacy. We have the mesh sleeves on the windows. We have the curtain now separating the driving area from the sleeping area. I did not lay out the mattress just yet because I wanted to show you this compartment right here. This is a storage compartment under the platform, very nice and long. And then here you could see the fridge clears no problem. So you can keep it in here, you could keep it plugged in, and then you'll be able to lay out the mattress on top. Okay, the mattress has been laid on top of the platform. It's a 4-inch foam folding mattress, big enough for 2 people to sleep on there. You could see lots of privacy. Windows can be put down for some ventilation. These insulations can be removed if you need to maybe check out the view through that rear hatch. You can remove the insulation. They're easily removable, not a problem. Here we have some shelving units on both sides for some more storage. Notice that they are unlike the shelving units that I've done on previous builds. These are kind of like floating design and very nice. Nicely finished. The edges are routed, so there's no risk of injury. Everything is nice and smooth. There is a protective layer of gloss on the wood to protect the wood itself. But yeah, these are like the floating shelf design, I call them. First time I've done them, and I had to do them this way on this particular rig on the Ford Expedition. So that's what it looks like inside. It's very nice and cozy. This is ideal for maybe like winter camping. You could go off-road, go to the snow, even camp in the snow if you want. This would be a very cozy environment to do that in. Okay, so that's pretty much the sleeping area. Let me now go to the back, open the lift gate, and show you the rear part of the build. Okay, so opening the lift gate to show you the rear part of the build. You could see more clearly now the floating shelves. You could see what they look like. Again, the reason why I did them this way is because I did not remove the bezels on both sides, so I kept the bezels in place. This side has the AC vent. This is for the rear AC, so this is where the rear AC vents. And on this side we have a speaker that I did not want to obstruct, and then we also have the jack storage compartment that could also be accessed by just reaching in, not a problem. The jack sits in there, so this is why we have kind of an open floating shelf design on the side storage. But yeah, this is the rear part of the build. I mean, you've seen this on many of my previous builds. 2 drawers with they're on locking slides. I'll open them in a second, but here on top I want to go over these rings. These rings are put in place If you would like to put the fridge back here, you could still run the cord all the way to the front and plug it in on either side. So you can have the fridge sit back here, and you can bungee cord it. You know, you can hook the bungee cords through these rings, and the fridge would be sitting back here very nice and tight. And on this side, we have rings for the water containers, again, should you want to put the water containers back here. And then down here is where the folding solar panels stow, right under the platform. Very nice and snug down below. So let me go ahead and open the drawers and show you what that looks like. Okay, so these drawers are just like all the other drawers that I've done on previous builds. You could see they are on heavy ball bearing slides, locked in two positions. These are almost 32 inches in length, and we do have built-in toppers, storage compartments under the built-in toppers. And on this side, we have the built-in sink. The sink is part of the level 3 as well. You see now I just locked this drawer in position, the second position, so it's not gonna go inside unless I push down on the blue tabs. And here is the sink, and then down here we have a bar mat that you could place on top of the platform and have the water container dispense water into the sink. Let me go ahead and set that up for you real quick to show you what that looks like. Okay, so I went ahead and set up the outdoor kitchen on this Ford Expedition to show you what that looks like. Here we see the Coleman 2-burner propane stove sitting on this topper right here. The drawer is all the way out, locked in place. This area becomes a prepping area. And on this side, we have the 7-gallon water container, fresh water, sitting on a bar mat, which is going to dispense into the sink topper. And then it will drain into this 7-gallon container, which, you know, this container will collect all your dirty water. So that's pretty much what an outdoor kitchen setup could look like on the Ford Expedition. One thing to note is that you can remove all this stuff when you're done cooking, and let's say you've cleaned everything, you've done the dishes, you know, you put the stove away, you put the containers back in the front, and you can lay out that mattress, open either just the glass part of the rear hatch or the entire rear hatch itself, park somewhere really nice and kind of take the view in. I'm sure it would be a very, very nice thing to do. So that concludes today's video on this 2000 Ford Expedition Level 3 camper build. Like I mentioned in the intro, this rig will be offered for sale, so visit www.horizonoverland.com, click on for sale, and you'll be able to see the listing on this rig. I want to thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Until next time, take care and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.